what I have here is a piece of fine fabric with 2 layers of Bondaweb underneath it and 1 layer of Solufleece. Now, the Bondaweb I haven't actually ironed onto this. This process won't work if you've ironed it on. It'll just make the fabric a bit stiffer. So don't iron your Bondaweb. Please don't, because it just will not do what you want it to do. So that's 1 fine sheet of some kind of fabric. This is quite a thin fabric because I'm going to get it all to crinkle up, I hope. Then 2 sheets of Bondaweb, but no ironing, and then 1 sheet of Solufleece. And I'm going to start the process now and see what happens. I'm not ironing it, but I'm hovering the steam iron over the top of the fabric, and we'll see what happens. You hear the steam? Woohoo! Oh, good grief, look at that already. Do you see what's happened? Wow, I love this. I think this is wonderful. Perhaps I've been a bit too vigorous with the steam here. Oh, it's shrinking more. And there's a wee bit there that hasn't shrunk so much. Oh, look. Now, I suppose if you want, you can get, there's a wee bit that's got the whole bit sort of uniformly crinkled up. Now, if you had a purpose for it, you could just crinkle some bits and leave some bits flat. You might want to use it in an embroidery. Who knows what I might use this for? I haven't made up my mind. It's an experiment that I thought I would show you. And here goes. I'm going to steam it some more because I quite like how it's turning out. But not touching the fabric, just allowing the steam to do its work underneath. Now this is interesting. I wonder if I pin that onto this bit of board, if that might hold it steady while I steam the rest of it. It seems to be working though. And I'll just show it to you in a moment. There, almost there. You can see some bits are better than others. There's a bit here that... Do you know what I've just realised? The steam is steaming up my iPad, so, and I'm using my iPad to take the video, so if you've got a foggy screen, it's not you, it's me. Anyway, you can see what I'm doing here, and I will inspect this video and see if it's worth putting up for you on my YouTube channel. I'm liking it though. I like it a lot. More steaming, so you're probably misting up again. I'll do my best this time not to use the steam iron because you had a misty screen right enough, but I think now you can see the finished result. I quite like the frilly bits round the edge, but as I say, this is an experiment and I'll work out what I might do with this, or I might keep it just to show people what I did. The sewing on it was just simply machine sewing vertical and then horizontal in small squares. Now you can vary that, you can even do wavy lines if you like. There's no rule book for this, but it is a fun thing to do. You can see there, that's the Solufleece on the back, and there's the 2 sheets of Bondaweb inside, but you don't iron the Bondaweb on, that's for sure. And I'll add to this video and show you something that I Blue Peter style made earlier. Okay, this is one that I made earlier. I use it as a vase because I've got a glass vase inside it with some dried flowers, but the vase is really just a cylindrical object. I put a bit of cardboard in the bottom to make the base, and I've used a contrasting smooth fabric as a kind of velvety material, and then I've decorated the top with that nice heart stitch that I have in my sewing machine. The combinations of colours are kind of endless, but if you choose a nice fabric in the first place, your work's half done. Or you could print your own fabric. If you like to do any kind of printing, it might be fun to use either block prints or dispersed dyes onto fabric, and then you get a very unique vessel to put your flowers in. And I'm going to put my flowers back in. There we go. Crashing fabric. Not trashing, crashing fabric. That's what this process is called. What I've got here is the fabric itself, then a layer of Bondaweb and another layer of Bondaweb, but not ironed onto the fabric. And I've taken the paper backing off these two sheets. You don't want the paper in there. It's sometimes difficult to get Bondaweb off the paper, but the kind of Bondaweb I have seems to be quite obliging. And then on top of all of that goes the sheet of Solufleece. And I've got my sandwich ready, and the next thing to do is take it to the sewing machine and sew lines. I haven't decided what colour of thread I'll use. Probably I don't really want the threads to be seen particularly on this. So I'll do my machine sewing, and I'll do some horizontal lines and some vertical lines. It's a huge piece, this, so it's going to take me a little while to do the sewing, and I probably will find it quite boring. So I'll do a little bit, and then I'll move on to another project, and then I'll come back and do a bit more, and I'll just do it that way until, so that I don't get bored, until I've got it all sewn. At that point, I'll bring it back to the table and start to steam it so that I get that lovely crinkle effect that I've shown you already. Watch this space. I'm ready now to start the steaming process on this piece of fabric. You'll remember it's that nice kind of orangey reddy colour on this side, but you can see on the other side, you can see the lines of stitching I've put on. It's easier to see it on this side, you see the stitch better. I've got the horizontal lines, I've got the vertical lines. It's not terribly accurate, but I don't think that's going to matter, because when you see how it crinkles up, you'll realise that it's, you know, a little inaccuracy is perfectly all right. I'm going to start and steam now with my iron. I'm just hovering over the fabric, I'm not actually touching the fabric. And that, if you're careful, you can control how much you crinkle it up. I'm going to crinkle this whole piece, but you see, I'm probably steaming the screen again and you're not able to see. So I'll stop for a moment and let you see what I've done so far. Best put that iron in a safe place. I actually started on the other end, and you can see it has crinkled up quite a bit already, and I think that's probably as crinkly as I want it, but it has shrunk from that width to this width. So it does sort of crinkle up probably about half. I'll measure the fabric at the end and see how it's changed. But it has crinkled nicely, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Possibly a vase again, because I think it makes a very attractive covering for, well, it doesn't have to be a vase, it can be an old mayonnaise jar, something like that. Or I might make a work bag out of it, I'm just not sure yet. But I'll carry on steaming this to crinkle it up, and I'll come back and let you see the finished product.